Europe is finally coming after Russia's energy. London CNN Business. European leaders are planning to phase out Russian coal imports in response to howling scenes in Bucha, a suburb of Kiev. On Tuesday, the European Commission proposed a ban on €4 billion, $4.3 billion worth of Russian coal imports per year as part of the fifth package of sanctions designed to further diminish Russian President Vladimir Putin's war chest. Other proposals target Russian technology and manufacturing import worth another €10 billion, $1.9 billion. Europe has imposed punishing sanctions on Russia's economy since Putin's tanks rolled into Ukraine in late February, but stopped short of target Russia's energy sector. Until now, images of unarmed civilians bound and shot laying along Bucha's roads, which were until recently under Russian occupation, have convened leaders to change tack. Russia's oil and gas could be next. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told EU lawmakers on Wednesday that the fifth round of sanctions will not be the last. Yes, we've now banned coal, but now we have to look into oil, she said. Charles Michel, who chairs meetings of EU leaders, said in a tweet that measures on oil and even gas will also be needed sooner or later. More details of the new package, including the timeline for the ban on coal, could come on Wednesday when EU ambassadors meet for talks. The measures still need the approval of the all 27 member states. Sanctioning coal will bite some European countries, but it's among the easiest energy sources to wean up. Much of the world is already doing just that. The trickier question is what happens next. How much Russian coal goes to Europe? Russia was the world's third largest exporter of coal in 2020, behind Australia and Indonesia, according to the International Energy Agency, with Europe by far its biggest consumer. The continent received 57 million tons of Russian hard coal that year, compares to 31 million tons for China, IEA data shows. This amounted to more than half of Europe's coal that year, according to Eurostat. But the EU was already turning away from the world's dirtiest fossil fuel. The amount of electricity generated by coal has decreased steadily across the bloc in recent years, falling 29% between 2017 and 2019, according to the analysis by energy think tank Amber. And despite the brief uptick last year as gas prices hit record highs, the IEA anticipates that European demand for coal will resume its steady decline. Total imports were expected to drop 6% by 2024, even before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Other countries could step in to buy Russian coal. The IEA expects India's coal import to rise to 4% in 2024 and more than 6% in Southeast Asia. Russia has already benefited from a jump in export to China following Xi Jinping's block on Australian import, the agency said in a December report. What will a EU ban mean for coal prices? Still a supply crunch. Even one that pays it in could cause the headache for countries that still use coal for much of their electricity generation, including Poland and Germany. A drop in supply coupled with the rebounding demand in China helped push global core prices up to all-time highs in October 2021 before falling back down per IEA analysis. But elevated prices could prove tricky under the EU ban on Russian import. Rotterdam core futures, the benchmark for European core prices, closed at $257 a ton on Monday, but was last seen trading at $295. Data from the independent commodity intelligence services showed. EU moves to ban Russian core. Rotterdam core futures, the benchmark for European core prices, were up by more than 12% on Tuesday after European Union announced the plans to stop importing Russian core. Matthew Jones, lead analyst for EU power and carbon at ICIS, told CNN Business that the core ban will make the already tight European supply situation even tighter and will lead to a scramble to find alternative core sources. From the month, Rotterdam core futures traded on the ICE exchange were up almost 15% and from the year by 13% since yesterday's close in response to the news, Jones added. Even so, Henning Gloisten, Director of Energy, Climate and Resources at Eurasia Group, think EU states can withstand the shock. The think tank also said on Tuesday that any EU purchase of Australian core would caution the blow. Sanctioning core will also make life much more difficult for European utilities, which consume a lot of European core, Russian core, but energy companies can cope with this, Gloristan told CNN Business. What's left to sanction? Russia's oil and gas supplies are notably absent from the latest round of sanctions. The bloc imported 26% of its crude and 46% of its gas from Russia in 2020, according to Eurostat. But blocking oil import is on the table. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said in a statement Tuesday that the bloc was working on additional sanctions, including on oil import. Already, the United States has tapped its strategic oil reserves, releasing 180 million barrels into the global market to help bring down gasoline prices and counter the reduction in Russian oil supplies. The IEA also agreed to release additional oil from each member countries at an emergency meeting last week. Natural gas is still the most unlikely target on sanctions, partly because of differences between member states that are heavily reliant on Russian energy and those wanting to move faster to strike at the heart of the Russian economy. EU leaders have pleaded to reduce the consumption of Russian gas by 66% before the end of this year and to break the bloc's dependence on Russian energy by 2027. One country has gone further. Lithuania's Prime Minister Ingrida Simonite said in a tweet Sunday that from now and so on, Lithuania won't be consuming a cubic centimeter of toxic Russian gas. Getting import-reliant countries like Germany and Hungary on board will prove more challenging. But according to Gloistan, the bloc's reluctance to sanction oil and gas is about more than avoiding self-harm. The EU is keen to be able to keep escalating its response according to developments in Ukraine, he said. If Brussels now enforces maximum sanctions, how does it react to a further escalation by Moscow? Glowstein also said that targeting Russian oil and gas risked backfiring. There is serious and credible concerns that such actions would trigger significant escalation by Russia, as Putin may feel forced to act drastically and swiftly in the knowledge that his war chest might soon run dry. Mark Thompson contributed to this report.